And he knows a lot of tips and tricks about growing roses in this area because there are certain guidelines in growing roses in different areas. And she writes for the monthly newsletter for the Rose Society. She was awarded as outstanding consulting rosarian in 2024. Loves to speak to groups, and we are very privileged to have her here with us. So let's give her a big round of applause. My car, but I don't really need it. Can everybody hear me?
We need it for Zoom land though.
We what?
Need it for the Zoom folks, to people who are connected at home.
Now, is it on?
Yes. And
You guys know because they're not as difficult as everybody thinks. They're really simple if you just look at them and love them because they want to look you back. Actually, I have, I'm sorry for the Zoom people, but for the people who are attending, we have door prizes. And I have 6 bouquets and a door prize. So I hope you'll take some roses home and enjoy them. I love the fragrance of roses. I have a little PowerPoint up here, so I'm just going to let that scroll on through, and that'll kind of prompt some questions from you. So it will repeat. So if you miss a screen, it's coming back. Anyway, roses bloom 3 times a year. And that's why they're queen of the garden, or one of the reasons why they're queen of the garden. It's their beauty and their repeatability and their fragrance. And I'm just a rose nut. That's my front yard a couple of years ago. Some of you have been to my garden. I have 275 rose bushes, and I'm a rose nut. That's a customer garden there. And another customer garden, some of you may have been to. Yeah, it's been there. I'm sorry. Okay.
Mr. Speaker Guy, can you help me? Are they just not hearing the through the owl or through the? Okay. How is that?
Big voice. Look how gorgeous roses are. And here they are up here. They're also really fragrant. My absolute favorite rose is Mr. Lincoln. And it's because of the quality of the fragrance. So bring your nose up here later and put your nose on some of these roses, and especially the Mr. Lincoln. It's really amazing. There's lots of different types of roses. Are they hearing better, you think?
You could hear me, but not the speaker.
They can't hear the speaker?
You could hear me from the back, but not you for some.
Yeah, I have echo canceling on now through the owls.
Okay, so I'll say a few words and see if you get any response.
You hear me now?
Better.
Better. Okay.
Better? Oh, great. Okay, so I'm jumping around, and that's kind of the way I do. So please forgive me for jumping, but remind me if I've left a subject unsaid. So anyway, roses are queen of the garden. Let me go back to my beginning. As you know, as master gardeners, perennials bloom once a year and sometimes twice if you know what you're doing. Roses bloom 3 times a year. And it's a strong bloom. The first bloom is the strongest,
And if you know what you're doing, you cut those back at the right time and you'll get a fabulous second bloom, which is what we're in the middle of right now. This year was really unusual. We had an extremely long first bloom. And you probably noticed that in your perennial gardens also. But the weather was just so wonderful. And so we even thought that the second bloom had started already, but it was really just an extension of that first bloom, because you will get a rest in between bloom cycles. So Queen of the Garden, and they're just gorgeous. Fall blooms are larger and more colorful. And that would be the third bloom. So anyway, the first bloom is May and June, and then roses rest for 4 weeks, sometimes 6. And then they bloom again in July and August. And then they rest for 4 to 6 weeks. And then they bloom again in September and October. Am I stuck on that? Yeah,
Oh, it's somehow that's,
it's not.
it's always
progressive.
something,
Always
always
something.
something.
Depending on the type of rose that you have, you do something in between. If it's a shrub rose, cut it back halfway. In between the blooms, cut it back halfway, and it'll rebloom. Shrubs are David Austin's, knockouts. There are drift. So those are an example of some of the shrub roses that you would cut back halfway after the bloom. So wait till the bloom finishes completely and then cut it back halfway. And then you get another bloom and wait till that finishes completely, cut it back halfway. And that's for shrubs. For climbers, you get your best bloom, the first bloom, and then it really wears the climbers out. So that's when you start your pruning. So you don't prune before the climbers bloom. You prune that after the first bloom. Okay, and you're shaping and you're helping the bush stand up straight so it can show the roses to you. You never force a climber to adhere to your fence or to your arbor, because if you force that cane, it's just going to die. So if it's sticking out and it's in your way, cut it back all the way. Here's my visual aid. This is what a rose looks like. A graft is above the roots. The graft is something that's done at the hothouse, greenhouse, where they make new roses. And they'll take a rootstock called multiflora rootstock or something that they really don't like, but it accepts a graft easily. And so the graft is the variety that you're buying. So you never cut below the graft. So when you're pruning, you can prune all the way down to that graft ball, but you never cut below the graft ball. If you're cutting down here, then you're going to get the multiflora rootstock back. And some people will have climbers or roses that present a different color later. And that's because it has died back to the original rootstock. So you can keep it, but there's a reason that they put a graft on it, and that's because this is not a great rose. One that's used quite often is called Dr. Huey. That's the rootstock that's used quite often, and it's a dark red 5-petal rose that only blooms once. And so we want them to repeat. So what we call shovel prune that rose. Okay, so, and then, so those are the two categories, shrubs and climbers. And the third category is the biggest category, and that's what I really want to talk about the most tonight. And that's your hybrid teas, minis, mini floras, floribundas, grandifloras. And those are the long stem roses, the hybrid teas are, that you get at the florist. And those are the highly coveted for Valentine's Day. So hybrid teas will bloom 3 times, but you don't cut them back halfway after the bush has bloomed out totally. What you want to do for those kind of roses is investigate every cane. You're looking at every cane to see if there's damage. Maybe there's a hole in the pith of the cane, and that means that an insect has laid their egg onto the nice white pith, and that cane borer is boring down into your bush and will destroy your bush eventually. So you wanna, after you've cut that cane, you always cut like above a bud eye. After you cut that cane, if that cane is any thicker than your pinky, then you wanna cover that cane with some mud or something that's gonna trick that insect into thinking that it's a dead cane. So that's a tip. So most of this is about the fact that, oh, there I am back to my favorite screen, right? Let's hope it progresses.
It's the second time. It's already looped.
Yeah, it should continue. So anyway, so we're in the second bloom right now, and into the third bloom is when we get our larger and more colorful blooms. These blooms right here are in the second bloom. Second bloom is just really difficult. That's when we get a lot of our problems. We get our Japanese beetles, we get black spot, we get insects, we get roses that bloom really quickly. So you'll get small blooms. So you got to get out there every day, a couple of times a day, and cut your blooms. And let me give you a tip that is my favorite tip, and most of you probably already know it, but I'll give it to you anyway, and that is to refrigerate your roses. Actually, you can refrigerate any cut flower. You put it in your cup of water, cover it with some kind of Kroger baggie or some kind of Target bag, put it in the refrigerator. These roses have been in the refrigerator for a whole week. And they're gonna last on your table for a whole week too. So that's my best tip. I love that tip. Before that, before I had that tip, I'd go out and I'd cut roses and they'd be beautiful. And I'd set them on the table and they'd immediately start to die. And that just makes me sick. So this way, your roses will really last. And so take that to the bank. This right here is a David Austin. But most of these others are hybrid teas, some grandifloras. Grandifloras are just, the blooms are a little bit smaller. Sometimes the bushes are a little bit smaller, but like Queen Elizabeth is a grandiflora, and Queen Elizabeth's really tall, but it's also a really slender bush. So anyway, hybrid teas, minis, mini floras, floribundas. Bloom May and June. And you're looking at every cane, and when that cane has finished blooming, cut it back halfway. And then that cane will put out another stem. And from that stem will come another rose. And so anyway, after the third bloom, then comes winter. And so I can talk a little bit about winter care here. I always mulch my roses in December. You don't want to put, and I put 8 inches of hardwood mulch, like in a cone shape, on the bush. And you don't want to put that mulch on until until the ground has frozen. So give it some time. And there's mulch and my little dog. So that's what a mulched bed will look like. And there she is waiting for me to come outside and look at the roses some more. When you're selecting roses, and I was just over at Grantline, which PS, that's my favorite place to buy roses. I love Grantline. They really know what they're doing. I always take my book that I get from the American Rose Society, and this will rate the roses. Every rose that's in circulation. There's really probably 8,000 or more roses that are possible. And then the ones that are mostly circulated are written up in this book. And as a consulting rosarian, I'm registered with the American Rose Society as a consulting rosarian. I had to take a test, and I am bound and determined to talk as many people as I can into loving roses as much as I do. And that's a function of a consulting rosarian. But anyway, through the American Rose Society, I get this book. And it will tell me which varieties do best as far as disease and a gorgeous bloom. This one right here is Touch of Class. Touch of Class is the highest rated rose. It's on the screen that says Queen of the Garden. That's Touch of Class. That's a David Austin right there. And I'm not a big David Austin fan. David Austins have lanky canes, and they take up a lot of room. Anybody who's been to my yard knows I don't have any 275 bushes are on top of each other. And I have about this much room for my little dog to pee. And so, but she manages. But anyway, Touch of Class is the highest rated rose, and the reason is because of that pointed center. I'd like to encourage everybody to come to the State Fair, Kentucky State Fair, next weekend. The Rose Show will be in the North Wing lobby underneath the escalator, and it's only going to be there for one day. We've been cut back, which is fine. Roses really don't like those bright lights. They were always dying, and one of the tricks that rose growers use when they exhibit is they put that rose cutting high in the vase so that it'll show better. And then it can't suck the water eventually because the water will get diminished with those bright lights. So anyway, first Saturday of the Kentucky State Fair, we'll have a beautiful rose show in the North Wing. So I encourage everybody to come and see the beautiful roses, because we're going to have some gorgeous roses. But the highest rated rose is the Touch of Class. But my favorite is Mr. Lincoln, because of the quality of the rose, or quality of the bloom, quality of the scent. Thank you. Okay, so when you plant a bush, you always have your root ball at soil level. You don't want to plant it so that that graft is above the soil level, because then it's not gonna live through the winter. And if you put it up here, then, if you have your soil up here too high above the graft, then that rose bush isn't gonna be very happy and isn't gonna put a lot of, blooms out for you. So let's see, when you cut a rose, this one fell apart, as I was coming in, so I don't have to pull it out of the, cup, but it looked like this. And so when you cut above a 5 leaflet, if you can. And then when you prune even lower than that 5 leaflet. Back to my visual aid here. See, this cane has come off of this cane. And so if this cane has a hole in it, and you cut down and cut down and cut down to find out if you still have healthy cane, that cane should be creamy white, not brown. And so then this is usually a stop for that insect borer. And so you can cut below that, but you can't cut below this. So you can cut below the joint, I call this a joint. And then definitely cover with some mud. I have customers who use a grease paint. That's something you could use too. Or some people use Elmer's glue, but you need to protect your canes. So let's see, where are we?
Who is David Austin?
David Austin is an English rose, English gentleman who developed his own line, and they're English roses. So over in England, they do great because they have cooler temperatures. And here they just don't do well. They don't have enough flowers. The blooms are on the end of the stems. So your stems are out like this, and you got a bloom out here. Well, what's happening in the middle? Nothing, a bunch of green. That's not good enough for me. For a hybrid tea, it has an upright growing pattern. And so it has blooms all over the place. Thank you for the good question. What other questions do we have? Yes.
Do you know what kind of roses they use to make the rose absolute, the fragrance? Like the essential oil from?
No. No. So, Jen?
So my husband bought me some red roses at Costco a few days ago. In about 2 days, the heads were all,
Yeah, they've been in the refrigerator too long.
that what it was?
Yeah. Those hothouse roses, first of all, they won't have fragrance.
No, they have no fragrance.
Right, because they're not bred for that. They're bred for longevity. And at Kroger, I'm sure they were plenty old. Question back here?
From Zoom, Myra says that she's amazed how long your bouquets that you brought in are gonna last. Meaning they go through back in the refrigerator, she wants to know if they're the same grade as the pricey florist roses.
No, these are garden roses. They're not anything like the hothouse roses. Hothouse roses are different varieties. These varieties are garden varieties. And so if you want to learn what the right varieties are, then you might want to join the Rose Society. I write the newsletter and I give you all my tips because I'm in a garden every single day. As Debbie said in my intro, I tend roses for a living. So what I do is I go out into my customer yard. I have a couple of people who work for me, so they do all the cleanup and the spray. My job is to go out and cut a bouquet and give it to the customer. I have a really hard job. Uh, and so I'm, in the customer yard once every 2 weeks. Because one of the most important things about maintaining roses is they must be sprayed for black spot. Yes,
So can you speak to that a little bit, the black spots, the yellowing of the leaves,
Uh-huh.
the number of roses that you have, how do you manage to reduce that?
well, it is a struggle, especially in our area. You'll go over to California or up to upstate New York, and they have these gorgeous roses, and they don't do anything in the world to them. And they can't understand why we can't grow roses. Well, we have different climate. We've got so much humidity and heat, and it's just very difficult. So how I manage black spot is I am on a spray schedule. And I've given you my formula here. For the fungicide spray, I use a product called Bannermax propiconazole. So you have to be on a schedule, write it on your calendar once every 2 weeks. And also leaves fall away. They, as the bushes are growing, the leaves let go. And so they'll fall into the bed. And that's when they get the black spot. And then that black spot comes up into your bush. So clean out your bed, keep your bed clean. That's what my people do.
I saw,
Yeah.
I saw neem oil on one of your slides, do you use neem?
No. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
But I do try to be organic as best I can.
So what do you use?
I try not to use many insecticides because many insects are beneficial. I will use. I just bought it. What is it? There's a P.
The red ones?
Huh?
The red ones?
No. Promethrin?
oh, permethrin,
Permethrin.
permethrin.
Yeah, it's a kind of a light insecticide. There's also, well, let me give you another tip. There's also, an insecticide called Bifrin. I just saw it at Lewis Seed over in Louisville, has all the chemicals and the, sprays that you want to buy. Bifrin, bifrenephrine is, the longer name, and it is a preventative for rose rosette. Because it kills spider mites. Rose rosette, I have a picture of it here.
Yeah.
Just what it is.
Oh, it's horrible. And it's very easy to confuse rose rosette with a normal new cane. New growth is purplish red. And so is rose rosette. The difference is rose rosette is angry looking. It's a cancer. It's caused by a virus that is carried by a spider mite that blows in the wind. And so you can't even see this spider mite, it's so small. Blows in the wind, so if your neighbor has rose rosette, you're gonna get it. So go talk to your neighbor. And you can't just spray away rose rosette, it has to be dug out and put in your trash. Don't put it in your yard waste, put it in your trash.
You have to dig up the entire bush?
Yes,
Okay.
it is not stored in the soil, but it is stored in the roots. So you can pretty quickly plant another rose bush there. But I would give it a couple of weeks of rain before you plant another bush. Did I completely answer your question? about what I do about black spot. Stay on your schedule.
The aphids, and this.
Aphids are fragile. Aphids, spider mites, thrips, they're very fragile. If, the first thing we do when we go out into a garden is of course cut the blooms. And then I wash the bush. You've got to wash your bushes and you can kill all of those bugs by drowning them.
I've always heard not to spray,
I'm sorry?
I've always heard not to spray your roses with water notes, so it kind of promotes the black spots and stuff.
When the water what?
I've always read not to water the rose bush. When I
With the
water, yeah. It's because it promotes the black spots and yellow and the
You
leaf.
have to water all the time. Now, what you don't want to do is overhead water, because overhead water will destroy your bloom.
When you say wash, when you wash your roses,
I wash the bush. I've already cut the blooms. So I've cut the blooms, I just have buds and greenery there.
and that's what you,
And then I wash all that
with the water.
with a water hose. And if I get a bad case of spider mites, then I have to hold that bloom in my hand and really hard with a hard spray of water. Think drown it. Don't be nice.
How about neem oil?
No,
No,
no.
bacillus for the aphids and spider, oh no, the sawfly worm.
Sawfly larva, good question. The chemical for that is imidacloprid. And sawfly larva, I have a picture of what he looks like on there. He will shoot holes in the leaves and ruin your bush. There are, and you can use imidacloprid as a granular or in your spray. I do both. And there's a product called Advanced. It comes in a blue bottle. I have a picture of it here. Bare Advanced all-in-one for roses, and it includes imidacloprid. It also has a fungicide in there, and so it's a soil drench. Well, that's a couple of different ways of applying it. But the soil drench, and you have to repeat it. You don't just apply it one time. I think follow label directions, but I would think once every month would be good enough for the advanced all-in-one.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, sawfly larva. See, he'll curl up in a little ball and he's awful cute, but
Bacillus won't kill him?
what is that?
Bacillus won't kill him?
BT.
It kills worms on broccoli and cabbage and lettuce.
You know, I use that, but I'll tell you what works is imidacloprid. Imidacloprid is a systemic. BT is a contact. So I'll use that, I'll use Sunnyside, but what works is imidacloprid. Question in the back.
Joanne on June says her daughter lives in Seattle. She wants to know if you have any recommendations for that area of the country.
Yeah, enjoy your roses. Cause they're easy up there. Question?
I just saw these earth kind and it said something about not
Rose
needing
rosette.
as many, much spray. Is that
Yeah,
true?
there's a couple of earth kind roses. Knockouts supposedly are earth kind, but they're really not. They don't get black spot, but they do get rose rosette, and they also get sawfly larva. So take precautions. There's a couple of shrubs that are no spray. The Lady Elsie May, I love that. I have that out in front of my house, and the deer won't eat it either. Well, they eat it a little bit, but then they leave it alone. They don't like the thorns either.
Can you recommend a shrub rose that has a good scent? Because knockouts have no scent at all.
No, I can't.
Okay.
David Austin's. David Austin's have nice scent.
but then they look ugly.
Well, I didn't say ugly. No, did I say that?
Tomato cake.
I said they're worthless. No. Questions?
Actually, have you ever heard of this or tried it? I just was remembering watching your slide deck. My mother-in-law, after funerals, used to take home some roses. And
Slip.
yes, and she would put a little root zone, put it in her garden with a mayonnaise jar over it,
Mhm.
and they would root.
Yep. I do that in November. Because if you put what, that, globe is a, a vase that you put over and that acts as your little greenhouse. And if you have a little, greenhouse in the summer, it's gonna burn up. So I only do it in November. I have friends who do it in the spring too. That doesn't work for me. So, but slipping, yes, I do it all the time. Love it. Question in the back, yeah.
I understand that you can knock off Japanese beetles when you have a rose bush or two, but when you have like a whole yard full of rose bushes, how do you get rid of the Japanese beetles?
Well, good question. Japanese beetles have good years and bad years. They had a bad year this year because cicadas eat Japanese beetles. And so we didn't have very many Japanese beetles this year. But I still, and so they're finished now. Or they are in my yard and hopefully yours. What I do is I go out with a cup of soapy water, with just a little Dawn dish liquid in the water. And I just tap the bloom. I'll pick that, Japanese beetle out of the bloom and, put it in the soapy water and he'll drown. And then I know that there are certain roses in my garden that the Japanese beetles really love. And so I'll leave that as a decoy. So once they've eaten half of it, there's still half left and it smells good too. So rather than cut that off, I leave that as a decoy. And so that's the first rose I go to twice a day to kill Japanese beetles. There's nothing you can spray. You can spray 7, but it's gonna kill everybody. I don't want to do that. I'm not into killing beneficials. So. Another question in the back? No? Well, I'd like to encourage anybody who wants to learn more about growing roses to join the local Rose Society. Mary Ann and Bud here are members. And it is a fun group. And I write the newsletter and I really love to tell what I know about roses, you can tell. And I'd like to leave these here as a door prize. So.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Let's give her another round of.
Take my sign.
Thank you for the roses. You're welcome.
Roses.
Oh, and my microphone. Oh, yeah.
All right, before we have our 10-minute break, there's a few things I want to mention to you. Let's see. Oh, cookbook. Gene, can you hold up one of your cookbooks? We have the cruciferous. I've been practicing that. Cookbook. It is hot off the press. We have some here for sale. They're $15. Take a look at them. They're really cool. Jean's done a great job. We'll have those for sale at the Tomato Festival, along with some more Tomato Festival cookbooks. If you need some things for Christmas, Christmas is just around the corner. gifts coming up. Okay, let's see, the next one. We have some tomato festival, tomatoes that have come early. And tomatoes for some reason are misbehaving this year. So they are sitting over on that table. And, we're asking for a donation for tomatoes. They look beautiful, by the way. So, let's see, what else is happening during your break? I've got a sign up sheet for volunteers for Tomato Fest back there. There's a sign up sheet for the next advanced, training thing. Jeff's there. And, I think that's it. Okay, so 10 minutes, you have a lot to do. Let's go ahead and get started with the, business part of this meeting, the volunteer. Everybody got a chance to, relax a little bit and think about roses for next year. And, go buy some, best or the, citrus cookbook. Check out the tomatoes. How is everybody's tomatoes going this year?
Oh, great.
How's the terrible?
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's very variable this year. All right, let's get this program started here. Okay, so, let's see, the first thing we have is the minutes for approval. Veronica?
So the minutes were published in the last Sunnyside. Is that better? And talk loud. And talk loud.
Yes,
All right. Is it loud enough?
yes.
Thanks,
Better.
Glenn.
I don't know.
All right, so minutes were in the Sunnyside, the last issue. Came out in early August. Any issues with the minutes? Anybody want to motion to approve? Oh my gosh, Mary Ann, and then second.
I'll second.
Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, you're next.
Oh, I need it up here.
Folks bring that.
Oh.
There you go.
All right, what's this?
Okay, we had a big month on receipts, we collected $15. Scroll down a little more.
Oh,
That's good, that's good. Okay, so our total disbursements, this past month were $1,100. Most all of it was for different program expenses, and this is the time of year that the program expenses start rolling in a little bit stronger. And, we started off with, 24,544 at the beginning of the month. After the big income month in the expenses, we got, 23,451. We're about $1,000, short, less cash right now, this time of year than from January 1. That's about where we should be. Then with the Tomato Festival coming in August, and then in the fall, we start having the dues money come in, and then December, the wreath class. I think we're gonna be in real good shape by the end of the year. So any questions? Okay, next.
Thank you, Mike. All right, we actually have some badges that need to go out. Tonight Gina couldn't make it. I have, one for Jean Wolf, Brown semester going, which go, there you go. And then Elizabeth, we have a silver. Switch that out for your bronze. Then we have, Sally Taylor. There you go, we got a silver. And then we have, let's see, Jeff, we've got a bronze. So now you're revealed. Okay, so excellent, congratulations, everybody. Okay, so, the next thing that's up is, the programs, Tomato Festival, and, well, programs, projects, so Tomato Festival, and did anybody know how many more days we have until the Tomato Festival?
I bet you do.
Well, somewhere around, I think 10, I'm not sure, what day is today? So, well, 5th? 17, 12, we got 12 days left, okay? So just enough time for tomatoes to ripen. We hope, find out. Anyway, just a few items, as always, I wanna thank everybody for your support of the Tomato Festival, have been, very good in the past and are being very good this year. We could use some more, okay, where am I going? Oh, it's, okay, that's, okay, I'm so, sorry, it feels like it's cutting out every once in a while. We could use some more volunteers, so if you got an hour or two to, provide,
Batteries going dead.
oh, the battery's going dead, not good. Okay, so, I'm gonna be intermittent, sorry about that, that's just the way life is. So, if you have a couple hours to donate, that would be lovely. We start setting up at 9 o'clock, the festival goes from 11 to 2, and then we break down at 2 o'clock. We've got things covered, but having more volunteers will also allow people to have bigger breaks inside. We wanna make sure everybody's comfortable. I'm assuming that we're not gonna have a real cool down come on August 17th, would be nice, you know. It's like 75 degrees and very little humidity. Yeah, I know, but you know, even though it's might be a little warmer than that, a little more humid, we will have ice cream there, right? Cause we do, ice cream sundaes and root beer floats and, you know, all sorts of good stuff. Anyway, so we've got a little bit of time, just sign up sheet and back, I appreciate that. We also need your produce, one of the big fundraisers that we have is the produce and flowers booth, if you got extra flowers. Or just, you know, one just connecting down. We'll take it, whatever you have, please be generous, you know, just empty your flower beds and your garden. And just bring it all Sunday morning, or you can also bring it Saturday morning. Lisa and I will be at the Purdue Extension Center from 10 to 12. The building, we've got the Shine Room on Friday from 8 to 4. So, I mean, they can, it's open from 8 to 4, so you can also stop. And then you have to haul the stuff yourself upstairs, okay? Just so you know, but, so, you know, you can deliver it early or deliver it Sunday morning at the festival, which is just fine. But, definitely, you know, whatever you can, provide, that would be lovely. If you need some assistance in harvesting, just let me know. We've got a couple of places that need help and we'll get people out there to pick. We also have a, plant shop where we're, using or providing plants for fundraising. I was gonna say selling, we find we get more money by asking for donations. And so, if you've got, you know, some starts or dividing, some of your perennials, whatever, we will take it. And of course, we have a little shop of gardening goods, so, any crafty thing that you've got, definitely, you know, think about donating that and deliver it. Those, it'd be nice to get them to the Shine Room early on because they have to price things, and so that might be helpful. Oh, and also just remember, everything has to be sale ready, because your volunteers are just gonna be, you know, doing things quickly to get things out there and make lots of money for the Sunnyside Master Gardener projects. That's the whole idea, is to make money. Alright, we also, you know, get the word out. We have yard signs over there. If you haven't, if you've got some place to, oh, can somebody hold up a yard sign? It's right behind. They're really you can actually see them going like 40 miles an hour. Going faster than that, you might, just see the blur, but they're very nice yard signs. Kara did a wonderful job, creating them. Done a great job at all of our designs. Thank you very, very much. You're gonna be impressed. All right, and then, of course, don't forget, to enter the tomato growing contest. We got, the most perfect, smallest, largest, and weirdest. I think we're gonna have a lot of weird tomatoes this year. Based upon what I'm seeing, in my garden anyway, so, come and enjoy it. It'll be fun, okay? Questions about the tomato festival, additions, things I've forgotten? Yes.
So take those signs and do we have to return them?
Either that or these signs are designed just like the ones for Pollinator Day, so that they can be used year after year. Okay, so that it says the third Sunday in August, so. We want them back?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want them back. We'll store them, right, Lisa? Yeah, okay, other questions? Anything else? We've got some save the date cards back there, some flyers back there. I don't know if you saw the New Albany trip, but we've got a nice article in there. I've got a copy of it back there. If you don't have a copy of it, Jean, you can have that
Lisa
one.
sent me one, thank you.
Okay, that's great. So, anyway, so we're getting the word out to everybody about the tomato contest, tomato festival, too. All right, so, if you have questions, let me know, okay? Let's see, next we have, next project, we have got Dave Graff, Farmers Market. Where are you, Dave?
I think he might have been late.
Dave snuck out.
Oh, okay, I have no idea what it's gonna say. Okay, in that case, we'll go to Bonnie, talk about Century Garden.
And you hear me?
Yeah, not loud.
Oh, walk loud.
If you point the microphone so it's pointing at your mouth, it'll work better, like that.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. It won't, right? You're sure? Okay. Some of you know that I've got the sensory garden, which is, how many of you know where the sensory garden is?
At Purdue.
Okay, most of you know that it's behind the Purdue building. And we have a water problem. So I am seeking anybody who has time on their hands, anytime that they can arrange. It doesn't matter to me whether it's morning, evening, or night, but I need a couple of people who are willing to do some watering. I have a watering crew, but right now I'm down to 2 people on the watering crew, and it's a week-long job each time. So rather than having the same person having to do the entire month of August, if you would be interested at all in helping to water, please see me. I'm here until this is over tonight. If not, give me an email, call me, text me, I don't care. But whatever, right? If you don't know how to do the watering at the sensory garden, I will teach you. But I do need some help. The other thing is that I am giving up the sensory garden next year. And I have found a worthy volunteer who has agreed to take over the sensory garden for me. And his name is Justin Sullivan. Justin. For the remainder of this year, I'll be working with Justin to show him the ropes of the sensory garden, but then next year, it's all his. And I want you to know that he already works at the sensory garden and he knows how everything works. So if you feel the desire to work in that little garden, it's a doable garden. And it really is very rewarding. We would love to have you volunteer next year. Okay, thank you.
All right, Lisa, you're next. Breathing class, stay cold.
Okay, I promised it was gonna be very, very quick.
Is this that?
Save the date, and no, it's not done yet, not trying to like, December sixth. There are gonna be 3 classes, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 1 p.m. Okay, I'm just putting it out there right now. It's hot. Nobody wants to think about January at this time. So please save the date, December sixth. I will be pushing it, each class, just a little bit harder, but I promise only 3 minutes. So if you have questions, just like Bonnie, call me, email me. I'm in the directory, okay? You can track me down. I am accessible. My 3 minutes are up. Thank you. Great, thank you.
All right, I did forget something with the tomato festival. If you're bringing cherry tomatoes to the tomato festival, we have some containers back there for cherry tomatoes. It makes it a lot easier to transport them in the little containers. Because otherwise sometimes it gets squishy. Next up, okay, program committee, we've got Jeff, everybody's been thinking hard about next year. I got blank stares.
Doesn't bode well. I do want to mention, several people I've talked to about this already. We are signing people up this meeting and next meeting for the Shade Garden Tour that's going to take place at 10 a.m. on September 10th. And that will be at Floyd's Fork Apartments. So please stop by the table for more information or to sign up. This meeting, the drop dead deadline is next meeting. So the program committee will soon begin work, if you can believe it or not, on the 2026 program year. Virtually all of our trainings this year, all the topics we have chosen came out of that list of ideas you generated last year. We had 45 ideas, so we can't use all of them. And we try to make sure that we don't repeat topics for 3 years in a row. So if you suggest something we've just done or done in the last year, we won't be doing it the next year. But we really do depend on this list to generate ideas, and we use those and take them very seriously. So tonight, I'd like for you to divide yourselves and just move your chairs around. There's nothing magical about this. Straight little rows, turn them around, and we'd like for you to put down some ideas. If you would have one person in the group who can write legibly, unlike me, if you've got someone in the group that can write legibly your ideas, that would be really great. So move your chairs around, we'll bring up your paper to you, and Debbie will bring up pens. You have about 5 to 8 minutes. So just to hit some highlights and things that you have suggested. Buffalo Trace Garden Tour, Wilson's Nursery in Frankfurt, Janet Miller's Rose Garden, where that came from. Get together with the Madison Master Gardeners on Winery Project. Tour of a couple of members' yards. We haven't done that for quite a while. So that's a very good idea. Or somebody says, consider a tour of members' garden. Okay, a tour of homes adjacent to Cherokee Park. We're taught about which trees to plant in the yards after the tornado. An update on Origins Park, which has been mentioned by a couple of different groups. Irish Society, David and I've been to their Irish show in Louisville, lovely. A thing on daylilies. Let's see, Barbara, who knows someone in Bernheim, speaker. Oh, okay, that's Barbara. Okay, good. We're gonna get that too. Doing a garden tour at Bernheim. Linda Luck, daylilies, that is lovely. Matthew Darling, who's going to talk about winter gardening. Insect pests, Japanese beetles in particular. Water gardening, indoor plants, New Albany native plant trip, fern shop and prospect. The list goes on and on. I will not read all 40 or 50 this year, but I think we have a very good list. And there's really a nice variety here. So this is really what we love. So we're going to meet on August 19th. And the people who are in the group besides me are Barb Brewster, wave your hand, Barb, and Mike Callahan, and Margie Connard, Debbie Cober, Shelley Saluski, and myself. We're always looking for new members. If any of you are interested in helping us out, we'll be meeting shortly. And feel free to talk to any of us with your ideas. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we have a few more items here. Let's see. We had an open board position for vice president. And Connie Smith has been approved by the board to be the vice president. Everybody, Connie, thank you very much. They're all relieved. As most of you know, we've got a community garden at the 4-H fairgrounds in New Albany. And we're looking for a co-chair, as I say, master gardener co-chair for the gardens. Who will be co-chairing along with Gina on the garden. We need some, we're working towards making it, as I say, master gardener project. If you don't know what's happening out there, you have at least 20 to 25 gardeners, there are about 40 beds so far, 40 plus, I lost count. And we usually donate about 300 pounds of produce to Hope, Southern Indiana, so for dispersal, so it's the more gardeners we can get out there, the better. We've got room to grow for more gardeners and more beds, so but we just need more help out there. The other thing is talking about food banks. If you do have extra produce in your garden, not the week of the tomato festival, but otherwise, do think about donating it to food banks. There's a SNAP reductions going on, so it's the food banks are gonna get hit more and more. So if you've got anything extra, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You walk in with 2 cucumbers, they will be happy, okay? And most people think they have to bring in the, bushel, barrel, bushel, whatever basket. But no, just whatever you have, the last thing, we wanna do is have something, rot in your refrigerator. It's, I don't like wasting food. All right, let's see, the next Sunnyside Master Gardener meeting is September 2nd. And I suppose we can do, let's see, why don't we give you the hours before we do door prizes? Because I assume most people are interested in these roses.
Yeah.
Unless I can take them all home myself. No. Okay, what's the hour? Okay, for 0.75 for the education. And.
We're right at, still just a half hour.
Okay, so 0.50 for volunteer, okay. And then we will, do the door prizes. I need somebody to come up and pull numbers. Yeah.
Did you say bands?
Advanced training is 0.75, volunteers 0.5. All right, so what we've done is something we different because we're working on the fly tonight. So if you pull a number, I will give you a name.
29.
Okay, 29. Lucky 29 is 29. Where you at? Hang on. Hands. 29 is Martha Miller. Oh, well, okay, go on.
24.
24 is Mary Beth Kelly. Mary Beth, okay, so she gets to pick first. All right, next.
3.
Okay, number 3 is Frida.
7.
Yes. Have a choice of roses, Frida. So I've got it, every time I see Frida's name, I wanna say Tanta Frida, because I had a great aunt, Tanta. Okay, so next,
Next one.
10. That's Margie Knapp. There you go, Margie, okay.
That's 8.
That's an 8, okay, so number 8 is Mike Callahan.
Oh, right.
Alright, so.
My wife will be very happy.
You can pretend that you, okay, number 17 is Terry Goodman.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and going down to one more.
Yeah.
All right. Last one is number 11, and Debbie Cover.
Oh.
Go. All right, so I think we've gotten flowers done. All right, excellent.
Yes, until the deer.
Hey, Harvey. Yes, I need a motion to adjourn. All right. Lisa. And Kara seconds. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Then I will see everybody at the Tomato Festival. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions or need anything. It's been fun.